Alright, hey guys. I'm going to do a Meet the Moon video for you, even though I haven't reached 100 followers or anything like that. But I have reached a lot more than I thought I would ever get on Axel, and all of you are so sweet, so I decided I would do this for you guys. So I got some questions for you guys, and I'm going to go ahead and read them off. I was asked, what are your favorite baked foods, like muffins and cakes and such? I'm a huge lover of cake and pie. And you never used to be so big on pie until I started role-playing Dean, and I think he kind of affected me because I love pie now. Although I'll always love cake more. Like, I made Mom a birthday cake today, and I really want to go downstairs and get myself a slice, even though I can't because it's hers. But it's cake. Kelly asked me, outside of Axel, what are your other favorite muses? Um, I have a lot of blogs, so this list is long, but considering the amount of blogs I have, it's actually pretty short. But some of my favorite muses I've roleplayed are Tommy Oliver from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Rocky DeSantos from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the White and Red Rangers, if you guys aren't quite familiar with their names, Andros, the Red Ranger from Power Rangers in Space, Dean Winchester, the Spine from Steam Powered Giraffe, Derek Hell and Style Stilinski from Teen Wolf, Tom Hanniger from My Bloody Valentine, the Rum Tum Tugger from Cats the Musical, uh, Reno Sinclair and Kadash from Final Fantasy VII, and also Sora from Kingdom Hearts. Um, oh, don't scroll like that. Who was your first OTP and why? I have a lot of OTPs, so I picked a couple from some of the fandoms I'm bigger in. My first OTP for Kingdom Hearts was Akuroku, Axel Roxas. Go figure. Um, why? Not only are they best friends, but Axel actually puts effort into getting along with Roxas. And he even says in the game that Roxas was the only one that made him feel like he had a heart. And he says to Sora the same thing, that he made him feel like that too, which makes sense because Roxas is Sora's nobody. And I haven't had a chance to play like Dream Drop Distance or any of the newer Kingdom Hearts games. I haven't finished 358 over 2 days yet, and I'm currently in the process of playing Birth by Sleep, so there is a lot that I don't know. So I try to figure it out, but based off what I do know, they really seem to connect. They seem to make each other feel, and that's pretty much why I liked them. Other than I just kind of like them. It's very easy for me to ship something. I don't necessarily have to have a reason. It's kind of just like, oh, I ship them. Kind of like being an Axel. I'm just like, I ship it. Don't know why. I do. My first supernatural OTP is actually Wincest. And I didn't used to ever tell anybody about it because, Sam and Dean. But I think I like it just because it's always the two of them against the world. It's them or nothing. They only care about each other. I mean, not in the sense like, I mean, they care about like Cass and Bobby and, you know, um, all those people, but Dean will do anything for Sam, and Sam will do anything for Dean. And even though it's not canon and it would never be canon, it's my OTP. Um, Another OTP I'm very huge on is Fabbit, the Spine and a Rabbit from Steam Powered Giraffe. And that's another one at first I was kind of hesitant to admit that I liked because I didn't know if people would be weird about it, considering that Rabbit and the Spine are played by um, Bunny and David Bennett, who are twins. So I wasn't quite sure if people would be bothered by that, but a lot of people seem to be like, they're robots, so technically they don't have blood to share anything. They were built. They might call each other robots, but they're not actually brothers like Sam and Dean. Um, I ship them because it's always been the Spine, Rabbit, and John up until Hatchworth, when we got to know him and he was introduced to the band and stuff, and his backstory was made and all of that. But um, the Spine cares so much about Rabbit, even if he acts annoyed. And Rabbit, he seems to care about the Spine a lot underneath his, like the, as I always found, like calling him a little shit. Um, I don't know. The two they connected, and like I said, it's not hard for me to ship stuff. My Teen Wolf OTP, very first one, was Steric, and it's actually because of Steric and Tumblr that I started watching Teen Wolf, because it was all over my dashboard on my personal blog, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is amazing. Do I need to watch this show? And of course, like most people who ship Steric and then start watching Teen Wolf later, find out that it's not actually canon. But Styles is one of the very few people, despite his annoying habits that he has, that Derek puts up with, and then it's just, I can't explain Derek. It's Derek. If you're not in the fandom, it's really hard for me anyway, to explain. There's a lot of really good stuff out there that I could point you to if I had the time to find it and if I wasn't lazy, but my last one that I picked, and I'm sorry if I ruined anyone's childhood, actually no I'm not, is a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers OTP. It is Tommy, the Green and White Ranger, and Jason, the original Red Ranger. When Tommy was new to the town, to Angel Grove, Jason was the first person to extend his hand in friendship. When Tommy became evil and was under Rita's spell, after they broke it, Jason was the first person to forgive him and ask them to join their team as another Power Ranger. Tommy was a Power Ranger for Mighty Morphin, which has 3 seasons, and Zeo, and Turbo, and he and Jason have been friends through all of that. Now, yes, Jason did leave to go to Switzerland early in season 2, I believe, with Zack and Trini, but it's clear that he and Tommy kept in contact because Tommy brought him back as the 6th Zeo Ranger in Power Rangers Zeo. And then there's the one all the way down into Dino Thunder, which is season 3, Zeo, Turbo, In Space, Lost Galaxy, Time Force, Wild Force, maybe 10? Could be wrong. There's like so many seasons with Power Rangers anyway. But no, it's an episode of Wild Force, so it's like season 6 or 9 or something. But still, that's a long time. Tommy and is well into an adult. There is one episode in there called Forever Red, where all of the Red Rangers, up from Mighty Morphin to Wild Force, are called onto the team. And Tommy and Jason get to meet up again, and Tommy thought Jason wasn't going to come, and you can see it on Tommy's face. He's so crushed that Jason's not there. It kills him. But then Jason shows up, and a frickin' smile that lights up Tommy's face. Look at that smile and tell me that he doesn't love him. In Golden Homecoming and Power Rangers Zeo, Tommy and Jason have a talk when Jason comes back, and Jason's like, man, I don't want you to think that I'm coming back to take over the team or anything like that. And Tommy's like, we're all a team. No one's more or less important than anybody else. And they talked about how it was good to be back, and it's just, if you look through all the scenes of Tommy and Jason, there's just so many subtle reactions, like when Tommy gets hurt, or when Jason gets hurt, or when Tommy was evil, and that entire thing killed Jason. It's just, there's so much there. It's just, you can't tell me they don't like each other. I know it's not canon, because Power Rangers was, it came out in 1993, Mighty Morphin, so, all of the shows where they've been together have already been off the air, because they're currently on Power Rangers Mega Force, Super Mega Force, whatever the fuck they call it. Sorry, I can ramble a lot about Power Rangers, and Johnny, Jason Tommy, as you can tell. But yes, that is my biggest OTP, and I started picking them because this is there in the acting. I was also asked, next question, I was asked my favorite band of all time, which I hesitated for a second, and I was like, you know this answer, Kelsey. And my favorite band is, hey, don't freeze, Steam Powered Giraffe. All-time favorite band. I was lucky enough to see them live March of this year, which is why I have these goggles on. Anyway, I love Steam Powered Giraffe. Amazing band. Cannot think of any band better than them. They're a steampunk band, so if you're not familiar with steampunk, they might be a little bit confusing. They're a band. They're not musical, just musical. They're also theatrical. They dress up as robots. How much more awesome could you get than that? There's a lot more to them, but they're really awesome. I love Steam Power Giraffe. Every person I meet when if they start talking about music, I'm like, do you know Steam Power Giraffe? Do you know Steam Power Giraffe? You need to listen to them. They're awesome. Go listen to them. Just shh, go do it now. For all my followers, if you haven't heard of Steam Power Giraffe, go listen to them. If you have heard of Steam Power Giraffe and you like them, and I don't already know that you like them, you need to tell me so that I can love you forever. Okay? Favorite cosplay I've ever done would have to be Axel, which is also the first cosplay I did, was Organization 13 Axel. I've also done casual cosplay Axel, which was my own creation of clothes for him. I've done Schoolboy Axel. I'm planning to do Halloween Town Axel, possibly for Halloween this year, depending on how lazy I am. And I'm going to do him with a couple of friends who are going to do Halloween Town cosplays as well at Phoenix Comic Con next year. I've also wanted to do Steampunk Axel and Port Royal Axel, which is basically all the versions of Axel I want to do, because I love Axel. Why did I start role-playing? I've always been a writer, and I kind of just... it progressed from that. I mean, role-playing is a form of writing, to me. You're writing a story with other people, so... and I fell in love with it. Simple as that. Why did I choose Axel? Might be a little cliche, but quite simply, he's my favorite character, and I'm really good at writing sarcastic assholes. Alright, now I'm gonna do some shoutouts, and I got like way more shoutouts than I thought I would. I don't follow her on this blog, but I follow her on a lot of my other blogs, and she is my best friend in real life, so she gets a shout out because she's awesome. Her name is Kaylin. She has a few blogs. I can't think of all of them, but her main blog that she's most well known for is Curly Fries and Sarcasm, which is Styles from Teen Wolf. Kaylin is my best friend in real life. She's an absolute sweetheart who I am so lucky to have as a friend. She's also a very wonderful role player, no matter the character that she picks up. Styles is definitely her forte. She picked a perfect character to play. She's wonderful at Styles. My next shout out is to Kelly, who is like me and has way too many blogs, but the one I'm going to give a shout out to because I'm doing this on Axel is her Roxas blog, which is Serendipitous Key 13, which is the Roman numerals for 13. Kelly is a wonderful person. I met her when I was on my original Dean blog, when she was on her Clark Kent blog, and it started out as a crack ship because of magic add-ons, and then it turned into this thing. Ariel. Hell is my vacation spot. She's one of the best teen blogs I have come across, and Ariel is an absolute sweetheart, and she is so funny and just a great person. If you haven't roleplayed with her or you don't follow her, you definitely should. Actually, if you don't follow any of the people I'm doing for shoutouts, you should, because they're all awesome. Now, I don't know everybody's name, OOC, so if I don't call you by that and I just call you by like a character, whatever, I apologize. I will eventually learn your names. I'm horrible at names. I was going to give a shout out to Nine Melodies, who was one of the few Demixes that I roleplay with. Nine Melodies, Dem Moon, as I like to call him, is a great Demix. Demix is definitely very caring about my Axel, so I definitely want to get to roleplay with you more. Now the other Demix that I've been roleplaying with a lot lately, and their Demix is this cutie pie, is Aqua Sitar. I also want to give a shout out to Zexion-number 6. I'm bad at Roman numerals, and I'm bad at numbering who's what in Organization 13 for the most part. They're actually the only Zexion that I roleplay with. They're a sweetheart, and all of our blogs, or threads, are very good. I enjoy role-playing with them a lot, and I often reply to a lot of their opens because I have fun role-playing with them. Pride of a Soldier, who I met when I also met Ariel. Your Genesis blog is amazing, and it makes me very happy I have a Genesis, and I need to give you links to my friend Sway's Final Fantasy blogs, because she would like to have a Genesis. She has a sorry, Sway. I do that all the time. He has a Crisis Core Sephiroth blog and a Cloud blog and a few other Final Fantasy blogs. Sway is the whole reason that I am back into Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy. It's all his fault. I say that lovingly, but it's your fault, Sway. Speaking of Sway, that's who I want to give a shout out to next. Mako Infused is the blog that I am going to particularly give a shout out to because Cloud is one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters, and he plays a phenomenal Cloud. AU version, very, very AU, but very wonderful. Sway is a very, very dear friend of mine who I met through Steam Power Draft fandom on his Racy Spine blog, who Sway was someone I was very intimidated by at first because he is a wonderful role player, but I got to know him, and he is a sweetheart, one of the sweetest people I've had the pleasure of meeting in a long time. He cares about everybody he meets, and there isn't very many times that I don't find myself laughing at something Sway says, because he's hilarious and a sweetheart and a wonderful role player and a wonderful artist. Sway is one of my favorite artists I've come across on Tumblr, and he draws me art all the time, and it makes me happy. I like when people draw me things, especially Sway. Marluglia Assassin is like the only Marluglia that I actually talk to, and I will actually love Marluglia as one of my favorite organization members, so I'm really happy to get to interact with you, and we still need to figure out the plot. This guy hates me. I'm sorry. Transient Recollections. Sometimes I can't talk, even with time. They're a new blog, and they were super sweet and very scared to approach a lot of us, but honestly, everyone's scared to approach everyone. That's something I've learned with role-playing, and it's something I'm working on myself, is getting myself to interact with people. I wouldn't have all my threads with Ariel if I hadn't decided, you know what, screw it, and thrown Axel at Dean in an anime, and I'm glad I did, because Axel. I don't interact with them very much on these blogs, but I have interacted with them on a lot of other blogs, so I want to give throw-outs to them. Alex, I know her from her Ask-Gallant blog. She's a Steam Power Draft OC. Alex is a sweetheart. She's very caring about the friends that she makes, and she's also a very phenomenal writer. So if you like robots, you should go follow Gallant. Freelance Engineer, Reboot. I originally met her on her Rabbit blog. I'm rather crazy. He flirted with me. I was very flustered. Good on you, Reboot. She also has Platinum Spine, which is an AU with a spine, and Freelance Engineer, which is her Steam Power Draft Engineer OC. Another sweetheart. Very good writer. You wouldn't be regretting it if you followed her. These two people I haven't actually roleplayed with that much on this Tumblr, or any Tumblr really, but I found them on Tumblr, and I'm getting them shoutouts because I used to roleplay with them on Twitter all the time, and I consider them very dear friends, and I'm very glad to reconnect with them. And that is Stokiel and Reborn Sephiroth. Both of them are absolute sweethearts, OOC and IC. They welcomed me into the Final Fantasy Twitter roleplay almost immediately. Reborn Sephiroth, I'm sorry, never actually learned your guys' names, so I tend to just call you Seth and Silky. Seth actually made a Yazoo blog for my OC Keyslex because she had an Axel and then the moon just up and poofed, so Seth was kind enough to make me a Yazoo blog, and I see Seth and Key are very, very close friends. Keyslex is both a nobody and a somebody. If you guys want to follow her, message me and I'll give you a link to her for anyone who wants Kingdom Hearts Final Fantasy OCs to roleplay with. She was originally a nobody, but she does have Genova cells in her, and on Twitter, Sephiroth forced her nobody or remnant side out, and she was kind of a willing slave to him at first, but then they became friends. And I met Silkiel through Seth, and Silkiel is also a very sweetheart. Both very good role players. I'm not sure about Silkiel. I know Seth is fairly new to Tumblr roleplay. I know they're used to Twitter roleplay more, which I can understand because I switched from Neopets to Facebook to Twitter to Tumblr, so I can understand switching from one platform to another. It's very confusing. Free Shooter Zig. I haven't actually really gotten a chance to roleplay with Zigbar yet, but I've seen them OOC, and they're awesome, and they drew Gene Axel fan art for me, and it was awesome, even though it was mostly just an outline. But you drew me art, so you were awesome. I love people drawing art for me. Thank you. Light as bright as the setting sun is one of the other few Roxases that I roleplay with, and actually our first interaction was the name thing that was going around yesterday, and Roxas and Axel kind of just screamed each other's names at each other. But your Roxas is adorable, and you are a sweetheart, OOC, and your frickin' Roxas cosplay is adorable, okay? Don't ever stop being Roxas. Don't ever stop. Ever. I swear I'm almost done rambling. Syax the Luna Diviner is the only Syax I've actually roleplayed with yet so far. While I don't know very much about Lee, however you pronounce his name, and Isa, however you pronounce their names, I don't know very much about them, but I still get feels because Syax and Axel have this weird thing where it's like, we used to be friends, but now we're not, and now we're nobodies, and I actually ship Axel and Syax, so I'm just like, yay, Syax to interact with, and then you gave me feels on our one thread, which I believe it's my post on, so I'll actually go check that. But yay! Organization room members to roleplay with. This makes me very happy. You don't understand. Alright. If I forgot to give you a shout out, I apologize. I am very scatterbrained sometimes, and I did go through my list, but if I forgot to give you a shout out, that does not mean I do not love you. I love all of my followers, to be quite honest. And I'm taking these goggles off now because they make my head hurt. Now my hair's on my head. Awesome. Well, that was about it. I'm over 20 minutes, so yeah, I rambled for 20 minutes. Sorry if I wasted any of your guys' time. Or if you can understand me, I talk really fast sometimes. But you guys are helping me get over my fright of talking to people and generally doing things that I would think, I don't know, I'm going to be an idiot, I'm not going to do it. But I love you guys, so I wanted to do this for you. Alright, talk to you guys later!